Can medical cannabis help give hope to our disabled veterans here in Mississippi? That's what we'll discuss today on MCPA TV. Thank you for tuning in to MCPA TV. Today I have a wonderful friend that I've known for a very long time, and his name is Shane Polk. He is a veteran of the 82nd Airborne Division of the U.S. Army. And Shane has gone through a lot in his lifetime of service for our country, and I've asked him to come in today to share his journey with his debilitating medical conditions and how medical cannabis has actually helped him through this process. So Shane, thank you so much for being here with me today. I think the world of you, and I'm so thankful you're here to share your journey. So tell us a little bit about your journey with what happened the evening that you were in the military and your parachute, and how you got entered.
I was airborne infantry with the 82nd Airborne, and we was on a night maneuver, and we was practicing a combat jump. And during the training exercise jump that night, whenever I exited the aircraft, I could tell that I was going way too fast. The wind was blowing real hard, and I knew it was going to be a hard landing. And so there wasn't really nothing I can do to prevent it. It happened so fast. I was coming down, and the last thing I remember was my rucksack hitting the ground. And when your rucksack hits the ground, you know you got about a half a second. Well, I got knocked out when I hit the ground, so I really never knew what happened. I woke up in the hospital 3 days later with a severe head injury, which later was a terminal traumatic brain injury. I had spinal cord injury, did some damage to my knee, which led to 4 back surgeries, 4 knee surgeries, total knee replacement. And the traumatic brain injury is where the seizures, I have seizures and bad migraine headaches.
Gosh.
And they're related to the head injury. So I was medically retired out of the military, and I started developing seizures later in life, a few years later, and the migraine headaches. And for years we didn't know what the seizures were. I just didn't know if it was, just some kind of little dizzy spells or whatever, but they started getting worse and worse and turned into the grandma seizures. So I wound up with renal failure from all the medications that I was on. And so we battled this for years and years, and I kept hearing about cannabis, that, cannabis would help with the pain, it would help with the migraines and the seizures. So eventually I tried it, and I immediately had good results from it. It was the best medication for the pain, and it's also helped reduce the seizures, I would say at least 80 to 85%.
Oh, wow, that's amazing.
I went from having 10 and 15 seizures a week to having one now once every 6 months or 8 months,
Shane, that's a huge
change.
So
it was a dramatic change. The quality of life, it really changed my quality of life a lot.
Yeah.
In raising kids, I had the 2 boys in sports and everything, and it got where, I couldn't go out in the yard and coach baseball. I couldn't play, because of the migraines and seizures. So the results I've had from cannabis has really made a dramatic change in my life for the better.
Gosh, and that is just so encouraging to hear that you were on so many medications and having so many seizures every week to maybe one every few months. That's amazing. And Shane, so often we hear of patients and veterans who want to be able to try medical cannabis, but they are afraid because they don't want to become a criminal. They don't want to put their job at risk and different things like that. But what are you hearing, and how excited are you to know that in just a couple of more months that you'll be able to get safe, clean, tested medical cannabis, no more having to worry about, being a criminal? How do you feel about that? Does that give you and your friends hope?
It gives me a lot of hope and a peace of mind, to finally be able to, go to a medical dispensary, and where we know what we're getting, we know the amount we're getting, and it's regulated, and it's just, I'm disappointed in the VA system, you know, which is federally, and we may not want to say
That's
this
okay.
on there, but you know, the VA and stuff, it's not funded. They're not going to participate it. So my appreciation goes to the state of Mississippi. You know, the people of Mississippi, the people that fought for us, like you did in your company and your situation with your son benefiting from medical cannabis. So we had you fighting for us, you know, and it took the people of Mississippi to vote this in for us. And I owe so much appreciation to you and people that have fought for us and the residents of Mississippi, because they made this possible.
Well, it's our pleasure to fight not only for our patients, but specifically for our veterans like you. You've done so much to help our country to be safe and to be free, and it's the least that we can do is to fight back for you, for our veterans, and to give back. And you know, we are going to steadily work on the VA program, and hopefully they will come along and be willing to, you know, at least make a referral, if not become a practitioner who can certify their disabled veterans. And you know, our program, you know, they give our disabled veterans a free card, and we are working on incentive programs also to help pay for our veterans visits, and we are still working on a lot of that, but it will come in time. But it's the very least that we can do for our men and women who have given so much of themselves to keep us free. And in Mississippi, you know, that's what we want. We want to see y'all have the quality of life that you deserve and to have a hope for tomorrow.
You know, and I feel, you know, I'm fixing to be receiving the best medical help possible for my injuries, you know, so, and we know it works.
That's right.
You know, that's been the thing. It's worked. The quality of life is just so much better.
Yeah. And you know, you're very much like my son. He had to try medical cannabis in order to save his life, and he came off of 17 pharmaceutical prescriptions after seeing 22 doctors, and medical cannabis gave him that quality of life, and that's what worked for you. And that's what we want for all of our patients across Mississippi, is to regain their quality of life and to have a safe legal access to medical cannabis.
You know, that's the key. You know, it's safe. You know, it's going to make a big difference.
Yes,
you know?
Because you know, so many times when you go or have to go to the illicit market, you don't know if it's clean, if there's a mold in it, or if there are heavy metals or other pesticides, and those can actually make your debilitating medical conditions far worse.
Right.
And so, you know, now we know through testing, because every single product is tested, the batch is, before it ever gets onto the dispensary shelf. Right. And so that I love, because it proves that we're going to have safe, clean medicine for you.
Definitely.
Shane, you've already gotten your medical cannabis card, approved for it rather, and so tell me what you thought about the process with the Mississippi Department of Health.
The process was pretty simple. We was given a list of doctors from Mississippi Cannabis Patients Alliance, your company, yes. A list of doctors that was in the area where I live down on the coast. So I got with one of the doctors.
How did that go? Was it a pretty easy process with the physician?
Right, the process was easy. I had my medical records. I did bring medical records from the VA, and I brought a lot of my medication with me that I'm prescribed, and let him know, you know, that I'm not taking this medicine, but I wanted him to see what I had, you know, and so.
Yeah, it's so important to take your medical records. So when you see that medical cannabis practitioner, you can prove that you actually have a debilitating medical condition. Because if you were to just walk in to that practitioner's office and say, oh, I suffer with seizures and migraines, they can't just take your word for it. So we encourage all of our patients, our veterans, to be sure to take your medical records like Shane did to your medical cannabis practitioner. And if you are taking medications, always take that list and discuss that with the practitioner and with your pharmacist, and let them know that you'll be taking medical cannabis, so that, because there are a few interactions and we just want everybody to have a good, safe experience with medical cannabis. Thank you, Shane, for being with us today. And I thank you, our viewers, for tuning in to watch us on MCPATV. To learn more about the Mississippi Cannabis Patients Alliance, follow us on social media, go to our website, and share this informative video with your friends and family. Thank you for tuning in to MCPA TV.